Hello, everybody. Welcome to Felicitations, my live podcast. I am so excited to be here and introduce a guest who is going to help me personally, but also hopefully you. This is a one of the very good guest stars. I wasn't going to have as many guests this month in August, and yet I couldn't help but run into so many awesome people, including our amazing guest, Chris Hutchins.
Hello.
Chris, thank you so much for being here. I would love for you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you're going to help all of us play the game better financially with credit
Yeah.
cards.
So thanks for having me and welcome. I have a crazy background that is like the jack of all trades, master of none story.
It is
Where
very fascinating. I didn't even know a half of it before we started talking. And now I'm like, we're going to have to ask you a little bit more about credit card points. So I'm excited.
yeah, that might be the only consistent thing. I've gone from being a consultant, working at different companies. I've been a startup founder a couple times. I've worked at Google as a venture capitalist. I started a personal finance company, and most recently sold that company to a company called Wealthfront, where we help people build wealth through investing. But the common thread through all of it is that I've always been a huge optimizer, whether that's life, travel, money, points, credit cards, everything. And so I've kind of gotten to be well known for the person who amassed like 10 million points and miles and travels the world for free.
Okay, I need to know everything. You're like a min maxer, right? So your whole thing is to either break the system or play it to its nth degree. Is that
Yes.
how you would describe yourself?
I mean, now that is how I will now describe myself.
Well, I have to say, I totally admire everything about what you do because I am the opposite of a min maxer. I'm the kind of person who's all about experience, all about fun and creativity, and who cares about practical things as long as the lights are kind of on. And so I was telling you before that just your resume itself makes me regretful that I didn't meet you a long time ago because I probably would have been a lot smarter because I didn't even really know about compound interest, which is very embarrassing because I do have a math degree, but it's only theoretical math, the math that most people never even touch. That was where, and it's kind of science with their head in the clouds. So I guess that's where I'm coming from. So you are going to educate me and hopefully the audience about all things finance and all things min maxing in IRL. All right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's never too late to start, right?
I mean, it could be. I
Well,
feel like it might be.
we're not going to talk about your age on the air. That would be rude. But
No,
I'm fairly certain by looking at you in IRL that it is not too late.
it's going to be fine. And also, anybody can, you're right. Everybody can start. Even when you're on your grave, you can buy, they won't probably let you buy life insurance at 85, but you can always try, right?
Yeah. Though life
So,
insurance low on the list,
wait,
especially whole life. Whole life low on, like at the bottom of the list. Term life higher on the list.
well, but don't, if you have a kid, you have to get life
Yeah,
insurance,
yeah.
right?
So a lot of people, if you meet someone who's selling you life insurance, there's a 99% chance they're selling you a whole life or universal life policy. And if you have one right now, there are ways to get out of it. But term life is like the policy that in most cases is the best economic decision. Now, I'm not saying the other ones are horrible, right? If something terrible were to happen, you'll be very glad you had them. But like the best deal is usually getting a term life policy.
But you have to be younger, right? Because I know older people, if you're an older parent, some of them can't even get it because they either have a pre-existing condition or they're like, you're too old. We're not going to give it to you at any reasonable rate. So like
Yeah,
if you're young, you could get like a $20 a month life insurance policy and you're going to save a lot more money later when you actually feel guilty or reproduce and feel like, oh, I need life insurance. Then you're going to pay out the nose and all your other orifices for some life insurance, but you got to do it because you have a kid.
yeah. Unless you have, millions of dollars, you need life insurance with a kid because they cost money to raise and you want them to live great lives if something were to happen.
Okay, so no whole life. See,
No
these are
whole
good
life.
tips. I don't even want to go into. If I ever told you how bad I am at, okay, the one thing I know I never do, and I think you're going to be proud of me because we're going to talk about credit card points. So the reason I met Chris is that I tweeted something about who could teach me to be a guru about credit card points because a friend of mine who is very good at credit card points but didn't really have specific information for me just booked 10 days in the Maldives at a 30 in that $38,000 worth of hotel rooms and business class round trip tickets, all on points. And I was like, what? And so I tweeted, who can teach me how to become a guru? And immediately a friend of mine, Alex Albrecht, was like, you have to talk to my friend Chris. And then you got tweeted, like 4 people were like, you got to talk to Chris. You got to talk to Chris. So I'm very excited about you telling me what I'm doing wrong. But as I'm really young and can change this change lanes really fast now, you can tell me what to do.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's. Where do you want to start?
Well, okay, can you just, I don't even know if the audience, please ask questions. This is a live podcast. So anybody listening, you're going to be listening later, so you can't ask a question, but I will be giving the audience the benefit of the questions because not only is Chris a guru at credit cards, but other financial min-maxing, and his podcast, which is All the Hacks podcast.
Yep.
Specializes in hacking the world. So you might want to go listen to his podcast, but if you have specific questions now, please throw them at me. I will throw them at him. But I would just like you to explain very basics, credit card points. What are they? Are they worth it? I was told don't even bother with them because they're not worth it. And I think that person was a fool. Walk me through it, Chris.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have been able to travel like your friend to places like not the Maldives, but the Seychelles and Bora Bora and like amazing places without spending money.
Wow.
And so I'm a huge fan, and I've taken trips that I never would have taken for free, effectively. And I think the best way to think about it is to kind of do a quick comparison. So anytime, let's back up even further. So anytime you swipe your credit card, there is a fee that gets charged. And so if anyone out there has a small business, you know that anytime someone pays by credit card, you're paying a fee. If you're paying with cash, you're not. And so credit card companies want to earn those fees. And so they say, we'll give you points if you use your card to encourage you to go around using your card. And in the US, at least, merchants have just accepted that. And so, very rarely, like a gas station, you might pay a premium for using your credit card, paying your taxes. But for almost everything you buy, it's the same price, except the bank's going to give you some free money or points back if you use their card. So, I guess if you want free money, which I'm a big fan of free money.
Yes, it's not bad. I sometimes get free sneakers or free gaming headsets, which I always get 7 a year. That's really my sweet spot. It's not like the upper tier gift, but it's like a lower tier influencer gift. I'm always getting free headphones. So that I could say I'm the queen of. But other than that, yes, free anything is really good. I feel like I missed a lot of opportunities over the years because I don't really understand. Because, for me, I have some basic credit cards that give me points, but I will tell you, embarrassingly, do you know what I use my points for? I buy my mom gift certificates at the end of the year for her birthday gift.
So it's funny. Like I did a podcast, I think episode 2 or 3 was all about credit card points. And I think in that podcast, we were like, well, basically the only thing that that you're doing wrong is if you're using your points for gift cards. So we've got to start changing that.
Oh, no, really?
But we're going forward. We only look forward. We're not looking backwards.
Why are they so bad? Why? Why were they so bad?
Well, the opportunity, depending on where you're using them, and depending on what credit card you have, you might not have an option. But if you earn a point, there are a lot of places where that point could be worth 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent. If you're really maximizing, you might be able to get 10 cents, per point. And gift cards are always like 0.5 cents or 1 cent. They're always at the bottom because the banks know they're so easy. They know that if you're looking at this balance and you're like, do I want to figure out what to do or do I just want to send a gift card to someone? They're preying.
You've just
on
revealed.
simplicity.
I'm bottom feeding. I'm bottom feeding with my credit card. Okay.
That's why we're here.
Oh no. Okay. So that I was really worried that you would find out what I've been doing with my credit cards for probably 7 or 8 years. And now you're just going to
But wait, when we come back in 2022 and we have this conversation again, maybe you could take it from a vacation. We're going to get you there.
Okay. You're going to get me there. Okay. All right. So audience, do not use it for gift cards. Okay. Is there anything else you should never use your credit card points for? Or because here's the thing. Once I looked up credit card points, I didn't realize you could transfer them. You can combine them. This is the hack that I am completely naive about, and that's what I need to know. So, okay, so but starting, don't do gift cards. Is there anything else that you would say don't do that?
So the biggest rule, even worse than gift cards, is don't use your credit card to earn points if you can't pay it off each month in full.
Okay.
So paying, at best, spending your credit card to earn points might earn you five. Someone posted in the chat, the Amazon Prime card, get 5% back. Most credit cards have 15% interest. So if you can't pay it off, getting 5% back in order to pay 15% in interest is just not a good deal. So all the advice we're going to talk about going forward is only relevant for someone who's paying off their credit cards in full. If you're not, focus on that. Focus on maybe transfer it to a 0% card, get to the point that you've paid it off, and you can pay your credit card off each month. If you're paying it off each month, now we're ready to go.
Okay, Jolie Key, I don't know if you're serious. I always use them to pay the credit card. Is this right or wrong?
Yeah, so a lot of credit card companies will let you use your points to pay off the balance on your card. And if you have a cashback card, this is almost like the easiest way to do it. And most cashback cards, that's kind of how they give you the cash. They don't mail you a check. They just say you earned $100 and you can knock it off your bill. So that's not a horrible way to use points. But once you cross from the land of cashback to the land of earning points, which let you take free trips and all that kind of stuff, you'll kind of understand all of the upside that comes past that. So I like to start off saying, if you're thinking about points, the things that points will do for you are let you travel internationally much less expensive, in business class much less expensive, staying at really high-end luxury hotels much less expensive. If all you want to do is really flexible, I'll fly whenever it's cheap from, LA to Denver once a year, cashback might be perfect for you. And using a card like the Citi Double Cash to get 2% on everything, or the Amazon card to get 5% cash back, that sounds like a great plan. But
so if you're not adventurous and you don't want to sort of reach to the stratosphere to things that you probably wouldn't be able to afford otherwise, so this is for the adventurous spirit, not for the people. Because my brother found out years ago that I was using my airline points to buy domestic flights, and he was like, "What are you doing, you dumb fool? You should be using those only for international because you get a lot better value." So clearly there are a lot of ins and outs of point systems everywhere that I am not privy to. So I'm really hoping that I can level this up right now.
yeah, so international is where it's at. If you amass lots of points and you figure out how to play the game and you want to upgrade to business class, which is something I would never pay to do, right? Like I'm not paying to sit in the front of the plane.
No,
but if I'm
I would
using
never
my
do that.
points, it's just, there's nothing that makes a 12-hour flight overseas more relaxing than someone pouring you champagne and lying in a bed on an airplane. But there's nothing worse than knowing that you had to pay for that.
No, I can't imagine, because then it's just like, it's kind of like, the other day I was thinking, I love food and I consider myself kind of a foodie, but a couple of times I've gone to an expensive restaurant and just looked at my poop afterwards and be like, was that worth it? Was that poop $125 worth?
Probably not.
Probably not, y'all.
Depends who was there.
It's true. If the experience was so wonderful, but it was just a pricey meal, it's got to be like an experience, Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So pay it off. Don't use it for gift certificates or gift cards. Pay it off every month. So you have to pay it off every month in order to make this scam work. Not scam, but system work.
Opportunity.
Opportunity work.
Yeah. So let's take an example. Do you want to use an example of a card you're using now and we can compare how it could be better?
Yes. Okay. So I have a couple. So I told you that I have 3 companies, it's just for various reasons. It's not like I'm fancy. I just had to protect myself. Like there's one for the Guild and one for other productions and then one for my acting. So I use Chase for all of that. I have like the ink thing, which is, I don't know. And then the dumbest one I have is my personal, which I've used for really, really long time. I think it's been probably 10 years of absolute waste. It's a Bank of America Defenders of Wildlife card. So supposedly some of my money goes to Defenders of Wildlife, but I'm not really sure. I just know that cashiers are always like, hey, you got a wolf on your credit card. That's cool. I think this is the problem. That is definitely not optimizing anything.
You got sold on the wolf.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a American Express Platinum, but it's a free one, so it's like a fake platinum. So it doesn't give you anything. It's I don't even think they have this card anymore. I've had it like since college, so it looks fancy, but I don't have to pay a fee and I get nothing in return. It's like literally nothing.
Well, so that's another good rule is if you have a card and you've had it for a really long time and it doesn't have an annual fee, keep it around because it just helps your credit score.
Oh, okay.
A
Ooh,
big
that's good.
a big factor in your credit score is the length of history. So if you go close your 20-year card, the new average is the average of all the open cards. So keep your old cards.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So you should keep your oldest card as long as you don't pay for it because it makes you look better on your credit. I have no idea. Why would they do that? That's so weird.
So think about it from this perspective. If you were going to loan your friend money and you knew that for 20 years that person had not defaulted on any loans they had, you'd be more, you'd trust them more than if you only knew for 2 years. So by keeping this 20-year-old card on your history, banks can say, oh, wow, she's been good for 20 years. We trust her.
But if I take it off my credit, because I was just about to cancel that card.
Yeah,
so I shouldn't.
If it's a really old card, I keep it there. I have this tradition where every year during the holidays, I like take out all my credit cards and I go and spend like $1 here, or I'll buy something at a store so that I just keep it alive so that it just keeps keeping my credit score high. If you have a card that has an annual fee and maybe in the next, few minutes or hours, you're like, oh, wow, I shouldn't keep that. You can always call. Like Chase is great. You call Chase and you're like, I have this card. It's really expensive, but I don't want to get rid of it because it's helping my credit. Is there a free version? And so I had a United card. And it turns out that there are cards that Chase has that are better for earning United miles than a United card. And so I downgraded my United card to a free United card. And once a year, I put a couple dollars on it and, it just stays there. But yeah, so you don't need to cancel cards if they're free or if you can downgrade them to a free version because they'll just help your credit score.
So how many credit cards should you, assuming that you are paying it all off every month, which is that's the one thing. I'm one step above somebody putting money in a mattress because I'm super conservative. I didn't come from a family that had any money whatsoever. So like for me, just having anything in the bank is exciting. And then I'm just adamant about having no debt because there were so many fights in my house about my mom hiding a credit card and not telling my dad. And then suddenly we got all this balance that he found out about because he's working too hard. And it was very stressful for me as a person having to go through that through my life. So for me, I'm just paranoid about debt, but I'm not very good about growth or clearly points. So how many credit cards should I have total? Like how many do you have active?
Well, I don't think what I do is a good barometer for what anyone else should do. But I probably so my wife and I usually open up cards and she knows it. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna open up this card on your account just because so we have more cards. So we probably have like 12 or 13.
What?
But I don't think normal people should do that.
Is that like you got like a credit card on you go in and get the Bloomingdale's card and you get
that's just like Chase.
Okay.
So at Chase, it's probably like 6 or 7, and Amex, it's like 4. And the reason why, which is, now we're way in the weeds, is, I wanted to make sure that I could earn the most. So when I had a business and we were running Facebook ads, there's an Amex card that earns 4 points on Facebook ads. And every other card earns like 1. So I was like, let's get that one. Then I got the grocery card and the Amazon card. And it was kind of an optimization thing. And when you have a business, you have a lot of expenses, so you can spread it all out on different cards. So I was spending enough for work and reimbursement for travel for work that I ended up, every new card I would open, there was some benefit to it, or it had no fee, or it was like that United card. I have a United card I've had since college. I put like $1 on it a year. So I have it, but I don't use it. But actively used cards, it's probably like, let's call it 4 or 5.
So, but is that bad? Because I always figured, if I have like $5,000 limit here and a $12,000 limit on this card, and like if I have those, that it's not debt because I'm not running them up. I would never even get close to that ceiling. But it's not bad to have all those credit cards.
Better for your credit score.
What? I always thought you had to have the fewest cards available.
No, so if you go to Credit Karma and you sign up, they'll show you your score. Another factor, right? Let's say you had 10 cards with a $10,000 limit, right?
Yeah.
And you regularly spend $5,000 a month. So now the banks are like, wow, we've given Felicia $100,000 and she only puts 5,000 on it. No, she's not living on the edge. But if you just had one card with $10,000 and you're spending 5,000, the bank's like, wow, she spends half of the credit available to her. So
Oh my
more,
gosh, that makes sense now that you say it, but that's completely foreign
yeah.
to
So
me.
it's like your credit utilization ratio is like how much of your credit are you using? And if you were loaning to a friend and you were like, hey, how much money do you have from all your credit cards? And they're like, well, my credit card is 30 grand and I have $29,900 on it. You're like, I don't know if I need to be loaning money to you because you're clearly like up to your knees in debt right now. But if you have, 10 cards and you only keep a small balance on each, it'll help your credit score also. So
So
now,
the chat is really reeling from this revelation because a lot of people are saying I run my whole business off of one card, and the more of a limit you have, the more of a liability you are. But that's not true.
so look, if you are not at the point where you've managed to pay your bill off each month, and if having access to more credit means you're just going to spend more money, this is not a conversation for you. Tune off.
Okay.
Go play a game and enjoy. But if you are someone who, whether your limit was 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000, you're not going to change your spending behavior. Then, I would say get as many credit cards as economically makes sense. And so for most people, I feel like 2 is a good number. And I've got like a 1-2 punch of like what I think is the best 1-2 combo.
Okay, good. No. I need to. This is what I want to soak up. I want to soak it up.
But so I did. So I asked Felicia before this, what card you
Yeah,
use?
he did get a little cheaty.
The Bank of America Wildlife Rewards card, which for every $10,000 that you spend, so one of the perks they try to tell you is that the World Wildlife Foundation gets money.
Yeah.
So they get 0.08% of everything you spend. So it's not
What?
a lot. So
I've probably given him $20 over 10 years.
So, and it earns points for you. So I walked through, I was like, okay, so this card gives you 3% in one category you pick. So let's call it travel, dining, you pick any one. And
I've never picked a category.
And it gives you 2% at grocery stores, but you only get those bonuses of 2 or 3% on the first $2,500 a quarter. So 10,000 a year. And another like sneaky thing that some credit cards have is if you ever use it overseas, they charge you 3% extra for every international purchase. So I did some quick math to bring this story to life, which was, let's say someone spends, and this might be too high, this might be too low, but it's a round number. Let's say that you're spending 50 grand a year, 4,000-ish a month. And let's assume that $10,000 is on travel. So 20% on travel, 20% on groceries, 20% on dining out, and 40% on everything else, right? So I ran that through the Bank of America card. You're spending $50,000 and you're going to get about $700 cash back. It's not nothing, right? You could buy a flight almost anywhere in the US for $700.
Well, Wildlife gets $4.
Well, you got the cool logo. You're telling people about it, but $700. So the combo that I think is a good combo is really based on how people spend money. So if there's a category if you spend all your money at Whole Foods and Amazon, well, 5% on the Amazon card is going to be your best bet. Mm-hmm. And if you spend all of your money on travel, right, there's another combo. The combo I love is for kind of the average kind of millennial, Gen Z, Gen Y, like Gen X. It's traveling, going out to eat, doing kind of a lot of those things.
Definitely, I would say one of my top categories would be. I'm trying to use Amazon less, so I would say eating out is probably my biggest expense, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the combo I love is Chase has a free card called the Freedom Unlimited. They also have a Freedom Flex. They're like pretty similar, but I love the Freedom Unlimited. 0 annual fee. You get 3% on dining, and you get 1.5% on everything else. So this is my this is my base card. And then I personally, and I've seen some people in the comments mention it, I love the Chase Reserve card. It's very similar to the Chase Sapphire Preferred. You get 3x on travel and 1x on everything else.
The Sapphire Preferred looked really good when I was looking at it, but it's like $400 a year.
Yeah, so the preferred is, this is the other tricky thing banks do, and I don't know why. So preferred, $100. Reserve, $550. And you're like, that's a lot. The first $300 you spend on travel, any travel, an Uber, a flight, a hotel, they just credit you back. So
basically it's only $250.
if you spend $300 a year on travel, it's a $250 card. If you spend zero on travel, you shouldn't get it in the first place because it's a travel card. So
it's a travel card, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that combo, I did the math and I was like, okay, so you're going to get $600 on your travel and dining, $150 on groceries, $300 on your other. Now you have $1,050. That's only $350 more a year than your Bank of America card.
Yeah.
However, there are a couple other kind of great things that really boost it up. So if you order your groceries online, or in the first year, they have a big bonus for groceries, 5% cash back on groceries the first year. Okay, so
that's really good.
That bumps $1,050 up to $1,400. The real kicker is the Chase Reserve takes every point you earn and makes it worth 1.5 cents instead of 1 cent. So all the points you earn on the Freedom or Freedom Unlimited or any of the Ink cards you have, they're now all worth 1.5 cents when you redeem them through their portal. So now your 1,400 is now 2,100. And Chase has built out a travel agency on their website that's basically like a white label kayak.com. So
nice.
If you book all your flights and hotels through there, they give you 10 points per dollar on hotels and 5 on flights. So that could potentially bump you up to like $2,700. And so now you're like, wow, $2,700 versus $700. That's very different
much
trip.
better. That is a lot of money. So, and I haven't even been helping the wolves that much. That's the problem.
By the way, if you now have $2,000 more dollars, you could give more, you could give more to the wolves than the $4 they're getting.
I know. So you're saying, okay, so if you're going to do the Freedom, the Freedom card is what you're recommending for people who, for no fees. But what about the expensive card? Is that worth it?
So there's Freedom Unlimited and Freedom Flex. And the subtle difference is one of them gives you 1.5% on everything, and one of them gives you 1% on everything, but 5% on random categories each quarter. I like the 1.5% because it's easy. It's not each quarter I sign up, and this quarter it's home improvement stores. And so 1.5% on everything. It's easy. And to anyone out there saying, oh, well, there's a lot of 2% cashback cards. Don't forget that when you pair these two up, you've got 1.5% back times this kicker of 1.5 times everything. So effectively it's like 2.25% cash back, which is already like a very high cash back. So I'd say Sapphire Preferred, if you don't spend that much on travel, it's a good 2x on travel card. Or Sapphire Reserve, if you're really going to spend, I think you probably have to spend, if I had to guess, like $5,000 or $6,000 on travel a year for it to make sense to pay the extra, $150 annual fee. Not to mention it comes with this thing called Priority Pass, which lets you and
the lounges. Well, that's what I really wanted. I mean, I've been on book tour. Well, it's a strange environment, but I usually fly, once or twice a month, at least for work. And I went on a book tour where I flew 12 times in 1.5 weeks, which was a lot. So I spent a lot of time in airports. So I was kind of thinking, oh, should I get the American Express Platinum or should I get the Chase Sapphire, which they're comparable, they are expensive, but like you said, you do get some amount of money back. So it's like a couple hundred a year if you get, and it seemed like to me, of course, the lounges are better with the Amex, but Platinum, but this Chase actually seemed like it was a little bit better just for overall living.
Yeah. What I say there is, look, I have an Amex and I have a Chase, but the problem is until you're spending enough money or saving for long enough that you're accumulating so many points on every card, it's not that useful to have 20,000 points on one Amex and then 30,000 on Chase. And then you want to book a flight and you're like, well, I don't have enough in any one place.
So you should put your eggs in a brand basket, essentially.
Yeah, I think that the Chase basket is the best starting basket because I think Chase has a great combo of travel and basic spend. I think if the other big thing is like you said earlier, you can transfer all these points, or you can just buy tickets through Chase on whatever flight or hotel you want and get 1.5 cents per point. So it's a great way to ease into travel hacking because you earn all these points. And the most optimal thing to do is go online and create a miles account with United or British Airways and be like, oh, is there a cheap flight with miles? Great. Now I'm going to transfer my Chase points to United, or I'm going to transfer my Chase points to British Airways. And you're going to get
So
way more value.
I don't
doing
understand
that.
any of that. Okay, so let's
Back up.
say, okay, so theoretically, first of all, let's go back to my wildlife card. So I shouldn't cancel that card because I've had it so long. It is a $95 a year fee for that card.
So I would message Bank of America or call them and say, hey, I've been a customer for a really long time. I've been using this card for a decade. I'd love to keep my card open with you guys. I like Bank of America, but the annual fee, I'd love to find a version of a card that I can have in its place that has no fee and see what they say.
And they could transfer the history of that card to another kind of
I mean, they usually like downgrade or upgrade the card to some other card. And sometimes it's not possible. But,
yeah,
so, when it is, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I should keep that card theoretically.
It will help your credit score to keep it. If they can't give you a no annual fee version, I'm not a fan of paying, $95 a year for a card you're never going to use. But I would try.
Well, now
really
I'm never
hard.
going to use it. The poor wolves. The poor wolves.
Just take $100 and donate it to the wolves every year, and they'll get more than if you did this.
100%. I could never spend enough money to make it worth the wolves' time. Now I cannot. I was like 6 months ago. I was like, I wonder how much these wolves get. They get zero. They can share one steak. That's it. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to me about. Let's see. I'm putting all my eggs in the Chase basket.
Yep.
How do I optimize?
Your business cards are all in the Chase basket, and you can pool points between. Like I have ink cards for business. You can pool between all of them.
Okay.
And when you sign up, so let's take a great example. When you sign up for the Chase Preferred card right now, if that's the path you go, there's a 100,000 point sign up bonus. So at the gate, you're gonna have 100,000 points if you can spend. I don't know the exact number, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around $3,000 in 3 months.
Yeah.
And so now you've got 100,000 points. So here's the example I was trying to explain before. If you just go log into Chase's website and you say, I want to book a flight on this airline, this time, this hotel, that 100,000 points will knock $1,500 off your travels.
So that's where I'm getting into, hey, free business class to France or something.
Well, that's where you're getting halfway there. What's crazy is if you take that 100,000 points and you go and transfer it to United or transfer it to British Airways. So I just looked, my wife and I just went to Greece. And wait, I want to talk about this Greece. This is my dream. I want to go to Greece so badly. Where did you go? We went to Santorini, Crete, and Athens 2 weeks ago. And my parents moved into our house and with the help of our au pair, watched our daughter. And it was like our first trip without a child. And it was amazing.
How old's your daughter? How old is she?
She just turned 1.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I was looking, on Air France, it was 57,000 points each way in business class. So
each way, so it would be 114.
114. Yeah. See,
for each ticket back and forth. So 230. Okay.
For 2 people, right?
For 2 people, you need 230,000 points. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. If you wanted to do business, if you want to do coach, it was probably half that.
I would never fly to Europe. I mean, it would be so hard. It would be hard with the kid. I mean, I flew to Poland with my daughter in a business class, but that was before she was 2. And I thought, hey, we'll just sleep. There is a picture. There's a picture of me huddled on the stool of the business class seat while my daughter, who's 1.5, splayed out on the business class seat. And the stewardesses were laughing at me because it was the middle of the night and I'm just like this. And my daughter is in the business class seat splayed out. It was really bad. Anyway, okay, tell me all about Greece. So did you pay for this or not?
No. We didn't pay for the flights. That would be crazy. So it worked out. I want to say the flights, if we had bought them, were like probably around $5,000 each. And
Yes.
so if you wanted to buy a $5,000 flight with those same Chase points, because you had the Chase Reserve and that card allows you to get 1.5 cents per point, you'd need
Hmm.
about 300,000 points.
Yeah.
So 300,000 points would buy it for you if you book it with Chase. But if you
Yes.
transferred it to Air France, which is a partner of Chase, you could book it for 114,000. So that's where the difference is that the airlines charge an amount of miles that's fixed. It doesn't matter if the flight's $100,000 or $1,000. They have like a chart that's like flights to Europe, if there is space, is this amount of miles. So that's where the magic happens, is when you transfer the points to the airline. And so, in that last example where I said you'd be earning $2,700 in points a year instead of 700, that's just getting the 1.5 cents. If you could go and optimize this, and for people like yourself who maybe are like, you know what, I want to optimize, but I don't really want to spend a lot of work. There are literally people out there on the internet. I've used a company called FlightFox, where for about $100, and FlightFox is refundable, they'll go out and they'll search all the airlines, figure out how to do it, and then just send you an email that says, log into Chase, transfer these points to here, and book it.
What?
So
Flightfox.com.
yeah, so FlightFox is the site I've used in the past. They turned into a corporate site, but there's still a button that says book a personal trip. And
Oh,
you can
okay.
go in and you have to sign in and register. You can also search award booking service. And
Uh-huh.
there's tons of people that are just nerds about travel who for 100, $200 will go and find you all the best deals so that you don't have to go and sit and play the game. But on our honeymoon, we made all of our points worth 10 cents. So if you're making $2,700 worth of points at 1.5 cents, we're talking like $10,000 of value a
So
year.
what did you do? Okay, so you got the flights for free to Santorini and anywhere else you went in Greece.
Yep.
And did you use points for the hotel there?
Yeah, so we used Marriott points to stay at these two resorts. One's called the Blue Palace and one's called Mystique.
Okay, that sounds like stripper names, but oh, it sounds beautiful.
I know.
So did you transfer your points to Marriott to get a better number
So
of
in this
points?
case, I had Marriott points already. We had considered, so there's a couple Hyatts. So Hyatt's also a Chase partner, and there are a couple Hyatts that are just unbelievable in Santorini that are like 30,000 points a night.
Yeah.
This is another great example. So you've got that 100,000 points from signing up for the card.
Yes.
So you could get 3 nights at these hotels. If you use that 100,000 points on the Chase portal, you get $1,500. It's easy, 1.5 cents if you have the
Yeah.
reserve.
Don't ever do that. So
no, no.
now okay.
So it's like gift cards, big gap, booking on the portal, great, and then transferring. But booking on the portal is still way better than using your Bank of America card or your cashback card because you're getting value.
Yeah.
They're not giving you a half a point per or half a cent per dollar. They're giving you 1.5 cents.
Okay.
But that hotel that was 30,000 points a night was like $1,400 a night. I'm not spending $1,400 a night at a hotel. That's crazy.
That sounds. I don't know who these people are who can do that. I don't
know.
Yeah.
I met
Good for
them
you.
because they were at the they were eating lunch and breakfast at the hotel.